The doctors warned me, "You're on the edge." That's what I was told at 68, when my blood sugar was dancing just below the diabetic line. I was tired, swollen, and constantly thirsty. But I didn't want to depend on insulin for the rest of my life. So I made a promise to myself. Before I turned 70, I would take control of my health, starting with what I drank. And believe it or not, that one change flipped the whole game. Because the truth is, what you drink after 60 either fuels your body or feeds the fire. Many people focus only on food, forgetting that some drinks silently spike blood sugar, cause inflammation, and drain your energy. But the right drinks? They can lower glucose, reduce cravings, and even protect your pancreas. In this video, I'll share the 7 drinks I've added to my daily life to stay off insulin. Simple, powerful, and backed by science. Number 7, lemon water. It sounds almost too simple, right? Just warm water and half a lemon in the morning. But this tiny ritual became my daily reset button. The first time I tried it, I wasn't expecting much. Just figured it was better than starting the day with coffee and creamer. But within a few days, I felt lighter. My stomach wasn't as bloated, and my energy didn't crash mid-morning. I later learned it's because lemon water helps the liver do its job better, and that organ is key to blood sugar regulation. See, after 60, our metabolism slows down like an old pickup truck in winter. Everything becomes sluggish, including how our body handles sugar. Lemon water helps warm the engine. It gently wakes up the digestive system, hydrates the body after sleep, and gives you a small dose of vitamin C, an antioxidant that also helps reduce insulin resistance. Plus, it keeps me away from those sugary breakfast drinks people love, like orange juice or flavored creamers. I used to reach for orange juice thinking I was doing something healthy, but that tiny glass is loaded with natural sugar, more than a can of soda in some cases. Replacing it with lemon water was a game changer. Not only did it help flatten my morning blood sugar spikes, but it also cut down my cravings. It's amazing how one habit can shift the rest of your day. When you start off balanced, it's easier to stay balanced. And here's something else I didn't expect. It helped with my joints. At my age, anything anti-inflammatory is a blessing. Some mornings I'd wake up with stiff knees or fingers that didn't want to bend. Since making lemon water a habit, those mornings have become rare. Maybe it's the hydration, maybe the alkaline effect. But whatever it is, I'll take it. I feel younger when I move without pain. Now I keep lemons on my kitchen counter, always in sight. It's a visual reminder that small steps matter. You don't need expensive juices or fancy powders. Sometimes, all you need is water, a lemon, and a bit of consistency. That's the real trick after 60, consistency. You stick with the good things long enough, and your body starts to thank you in ways you didn't expect. Number 6, unsweetened green tea. Green tea was one of those drinks I used to hear about, but never really trusted. It felt like something people in commercials drank, not real folks like me who grew up on coffee and sweet tea. But when I hit 68 and started watching my glucose numbers climb, I gave it a second chance. And it surprised me. 1 cup after lunch, every day. That was all it took to feel a difference in my afternoons. Less foggy, less sleepy, and less hungry. It became my reset button after meals. What makes green tea so helpful, especially after 60, is a little compound called EGCG. I'm not a scientist, but here's what I understood. EGCG helps your body use insulin better. That means sugar gets into your cells instead of floating around in your bloodstream, causing trouble. And because it's not sweetened, green tea doesn't add to the sugar load. It works against it. I like it hot in the winter and cold in the summer. No sugar, no honey, just the leaves and water. At first, it was a bit bitter for my taste, I won't lie. But after a few days, my tongue adjusted, and I started noticing how less bloated I felt. Green tea acts like a gentle detox. Not the extreme kind where you're running to the bathroom, but a steady, clean feeling in your gut. It calmed my digestion, especially after heavier meals, and helped reduce those sugar cravings that used to hit me around 3 p.m. like clockwork. Another thing I love, it doesn't mess with my sleep. I gave up coffee after 2 p.m. because it kept me up, but green tea has just enough caffeine to give me a lift without robbing me of rest. That's a huge win. because poor sleep and blood sugar are like partners in crime. They push each other in the wrong direction. Better sleep means better sugar control, and this tea helped me with both. Now, I keep a jar of brewed green tea in the fridge, right next to milk. It's easy to grab, easy to sip, and part of my rhythm now. No fancy brands, just basic loose leaves or tea bags. I drink it not because it's trendy, but because it works. And when you're trying to avoid insulin, every little advantage counts. This one gives more than it takes. Number 5, apple cider vinegar drink. I'll be honest with you. When someone first told me to drink vinegar, I thought they were messing with me. I mean, who drinks something that smells like pickles first thing in the morning? But when I read that apple cider vinegar could help control blood sugar spikes, I figured I had nothing to lose. So I started small, 1 tablespoon in a big glass of water, once a day before dinner. It wasn't love at first sip, but what it did to my numbers, that was worth every grimace. Apple cider vinegar works like a guard at the gate. It slows down how fast sugar enters your bloodstream after you eat, especially if you're having carbs. I noticed that when I drank before dinner, usually my biggest meal, I didn't feel that sleepy, heavy crash afterward. I still ate my rice or potatoes, but the vinegar helped my body handle them better. It doesn't replace eating smart, but it definitely supports it. It's like a safety net for those days I don't eat perfectly. Another thing I realized was how it curbed my appetite. As someone who used to snack late at night, this was huge. That vinegar drink made me feel full longer, and the craving for sweets after dinner started fading. I didn't expect that. No more pacing the kitchen looking for cookies or ice cream. That alone probably saved me from a dozen sugar spikes, and a few extra pounds too. Now, not all vinegars are the same. The one I use is raw, unfiltered, and has something called the mother in it. Sounds weird, I know, but that's where all the good bacteria and enzymes live. Some people mix it with lemon or cinnamon for taste, but I keep it simple. Just cold water and a splash of vinegar. If you're new to it, start with a teaspoon and build up slowly. It can be tough on the stomach at first, especially if you're taking it on an empty one. For me, this became less of a hack and more of a daily ritual. I don't rely on it like magic, but I respect it like medicine. It's not sweet or fancy, but it helps. And when you're trying to avoid insulin, every helpful tool becomes sacred. Just be consistent. Give it a week or 2, and pay attention to how your body responds. That's how change begins. 1 glass, 1 evening, 1 habit at a time. Number 4, cinnamon tea. If there's one spice that earned a permanent place in my kitchen after 68, it's cinnamon. Not just for oatmeal or toast, but as a tea, yes, a drink. I learned about it from a neighbor who swore it helped with her blood sugar. At first I thought, tea made from a stick? But I tried it one night, simmered a cinnamon stick in hot water, and added a squeeze of lemon. The taste was warm, sweet without sugar, and strangely comforting. But the real surprise came a few weeks later. My morning glucose readings were lower and more stable. What makes cinnamon so special for people like us is its ability to mimic insulin. That means it helps the sugar in your blood get into your cells, where it belongs, instead of floating around causing damage. And it does that gently without spikes or crashes. I usually have a cup after dinner. It satisfies that sweet craving without needing dessert, and it helps settle my stomach too. After years of battling nighttime sugar spikes, cinnamon tea became my ally. Another benefit? It's incredibly easy to prepare. I buy Ceylon cinnamon sticks. They're a bit milder and safer for long-term use. I boil 1 in 2 cups of water for 10 minutes. Let it cool a bit and sip slowly. No honey, no sugar, just the spice itself. Sometimes I'll brew it with a chamomile bag if I want something more calming. It's part of my evening routine now, just like brushing my teeth. Simple, cheap, and effective. One thing I noticed is how it also helped with inflammation. At my age, joints can get stiff just from tying my shoes. But after adding cinnamon tea to my nights, those aches felt less intense. Maybe it's the antioxidants. Or maybe it's just the fact that I'm not ending every meal with cake anymore. Either way, it gave me more ease getting out of bed in the morning. And that's a win in my book. So if you're looking for something warm, natural, and actually pleasant to drink, cinnamon tea is worth a try. It's not a miracle cure, but it's a quiet helper. And sometimes that's exactly what we need. Not fireworks, just a small flame that burns steady. When you're over 60, those little fires make all the difference. Number 3, homemade chia water. I used to think chia seeds were just a health trend, something you find in fancy stores or Instagram posts. But when I read that these tiny seeds could help stabilize blood sugar, I gave them a shot. I started with 1 tablespoon in a big glass of water, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes, then drank it slowly in the afternoon. The texture took some getting used to, kind of like drinking a soft gel, but the effect, that was instant. I felt fuller, calmer, and I didn't reach for snacks until dinner. Chia seeds are little powerhouses of fiber. When you soak them in water, they form a gel that slows down how your body digests food. That means carbs turn into sugar more slowly, and that's key for people like me trying to avoid insulin. I notice fewer blood sugar spikes after meals and even better digestion. Instead of feeling heavy or bloated, I felt lighter and more regular. And let's be honest, after 60, regular digestion is a blessing you don't take for granted. What I really love is how this drink curbs my cravings. I used to hit the pantry after lunch like clockwork. Something salty, something sweet. But with chia water, that urgency just disappeared. It's like my stomach gets the message, "We're good," that helped me cut down on between meal snacks, which used to be one of the biggest sources of hidden sugar in my day. Less snacking means more stable energy, and fewer surprises when I check my glucose. And don't be fooled by how simple it looks. Chia is rich in omega-3s, magnesium, and antioxidants, nutrients that support your heart, brain, and even your joints. I also found that staying hydrated became easier. The seeds hold onto water like little sponges, helping my body absorb it better. That's important, because dehydration can actually make blood sugar harder to control. With chia water, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Now I keep a small jar of chia seeds right next to the coffee. Once a day, I stir them into a glass of filtered water, wait, and drink. Some days I add a bit of lemon or a cucumber for taste. But honestly, plain works fine too. It's cheap, simple, and has become part of how I take care of myself, quietly, daily, and with intention. When people ask me what changed after 68, I tell them, sometimes it's the smallest things that make the biggest difference. Number 2, barley water. This one might surprise you. Barley water isn't something you see much in American kitchens, but in other parts of the world, like India or the Caribbean, it's a staple, especially for older adults. I first heard about it from a friend who grew up drinking it when someone in the house was sick. It cools the body, he told me. Turns out it is a lot more than that. After trying it for a few weeks, I noticed my blood sugar after meals was much steadier, especially on days I drank it with lunch. Barley is full of a special kind of fiber called beta-glucan. It acts like a sponge in your gut, trapping sugar and cholesterol and slowing their absorption. That's gold for someone like me, watching both my A1C and triglycerides. The drink itself is simple to make. Just boil pearl barley in water, strain it, and drink the liquid either warm or cold. No sugar, no additives. I like to add a slice of lemon or a cinnamon stick for taste, but even plain, it has a mild, nutty flavor that's easy to get used to. One unexpected benefit, it helps with inflammation. After a few weeks of drinking barley water regularly, I noticed less swelling in my ankles and less stiffness in my hands. It's not a miracle drink, but it's soothing, like it's working quietly in the background. That makes sense, since chronic inflammation is linked to blood sugar problems, and barley has compounds that help calm things down inside the body. It also helps keep me feeling full. On days when I sip barley water with my lunch, I'm less likely to crave bread or sweets later. It's like it extends the satisfaction of the meal. That's a big deal because as we get older, hunger and blood sugar get out of sync. You might feel hungry when you don't need more food, just hydration or better fiber. Barley water checks both boxes. It hydrates and balances gently and naturally. These days, I make a batch in the morning and keep it in a pitcher in the fridge. It's part of my routine now, like brushing my teeth or going for my morning walk. Nobody ever told me about this drink in my younger years, but I'm glad I found it when I did. It's old school, it's simple, and for someone trying to stay off insulin, it's one more piece of the puzzle that fits. Number 1, water. It might sound too obvious, but plain water, just clean, fresh water, is still the most powerful drink I have in my day. At 68, I've learned that the simplest choices often have the biggest effects. There were years where I'd go half a day without drinking a single glass of water, coffee in the morning, soda at lunch, maybe some juice at dinner, and I'd wonder why I felt tired, achy, and foggy. The day I started tracking my water intake was the day everything began to shift. Dehydration doesn't always feel like thirst when you're older. Sometimes it shows up as fatigue, headaches, or even high blood sugar. I didn't know that before. I also didn't know that when your body is low on water, your liver holds on to sugar longer, trying to keep your energy up. That's a dangerous loop for someone trying to stay off insulin. Now, I drink a full glass as soon as I wake up, and I keep a bottle with me throughout the day. Nothing fancy, just water. One of the biggest benefits I noticed was with my kidneys. A few years ago, my doctor warned me that my kidney function was starting to slip. Turns out, proper hydration helps those organs flush out waste, including excess sugar. I also felt fewer sugar cravings. Sometimes, when I thought I was hungry, I was just dehydrated. Water helped clear that up, and as a result, I ate more mindfully and had better control over my meals. Another thing I noticed, my joints started hurting less. I always thought I was just getting old, but a lot of that stiffness was my body begging for hydration. Water keeps the tissues between your joints cushioned and working. That alone made walking easier and sleep more restful. No pill ever gave me those results. It was just water, consistent, quiet, essential. So yes, I tried teas, tonics, even vinegar. But in the end, the drink that truly changed my health was the one we all have access to. If there's one thing I'd tell anyone over 60 trying to manage their blood sugar, don't underestimate water. Don't wait to feel thirsty. Make it a habit. Make it a priority. Because staying off insulin starts with giving your body what it's really asking for. And most of the time, that's just a good, long drink of water. I didn't get here overnight. At 68, I've had warnings from doctors, days when I couldn't button my shirt from the swelling, and quiet moments where I sat at the edge of my bed wondering how I let things slip so far. But I also had a choice. And that choice didn't require money, clinics, or perfection. It just required that I take the first step and keep showing up. Every drink I share with you here became more than a health tip. It became a quiet commitment, not out of fear of needles or hospital bills, but out of deep respect. Respect for the life I still want to live, for the people who still count on me, and for the body that, despite everything, still shows up every morning trying to do its best. If you're over 60 and struggling to manage your blood sugar, or just feeling like your energy is fading faster than it should, I want you to know something important. It is not too late. Your body still responds. I've seen it firsthand. The first few weeks, I didn't believe it either. But slowly, my numbers stopped jumping like a roller coaster. My joints stopped screaming every morning. I began walking farther, without stopping for breath. These changes didn't come from a doctor's office. They came from small, daily choices. A glass of Chia water instead of soda, a cinnamon tea instead of second helping of dessert, and most of all, from making water, plain and steady, my truest medicine. The world tries to sell us fast answers, powdered promises, expensive cures. But I've learned that real health, the kind that sticks, comes from rhythm, not rescue. It's in the quiet habits. In choosing what you put in your cup just as carefully as what's on your plate. In giving your body what it was always asking for, even when you're too distracted to hear it. And I'll tell you this, the moment you start taking care of yourself with gentleness instead of guilt, the game changes. You stop chasing healing like it's a finish line and start living it like a path. So if something in this video helped, if it made you pause or breathe a little deeper, or think, maybe I can do that, then don't let it be a one-time thing. Stick around. I'm not a guru, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just a man learning how to live better and sharing what works. If you want to walk this road with me, there's a lot more I'd like to show you. Hit that subscribe button and let's keep learning, healing, and getting stronger together. Because you're not broken, you're not too late, and you're certainly not alone.